is to hang out. So, third meeting all time between these teams out of the Pac-12 and the Big 12. Jeff Clark will tip it up. Brian O'Connell, Tommy Morrissey are officials as well. It'll be Casey Ibekwe and Yves Missi. Oregon State wins the tip. And his young Beavers team a long way from home, from Corvallis, Oregon to here in Brooklyn, New York. Starts with the ball to the first of our doubleheader at the NIT Tip-Off. And here is Pope right on cue. He'll take the first shot. He'll miss it deep. Rebound to Jaden Nunn, the VCU transfer. Part of this Baylor starting five, which features three transfers. Nunn and Ray J. Dennis, a terrific guard, a grad transfer from Toledo. Jalen Bridges, Yves Missi, the bigs, along with the super talented Walter.
Bridges, the only returning starter, to your point.
Here's Dennis. Down the lane, high off the glass and good for Ray J. Dennis, who has made a major impact after a decorated career at Toledo. Here's the Oregon State starting five. A couple of sophomores in there. Pope and Tyler Bilodeau are their two big scorers. Ibekwe gets his third start of the season along with Christian Wright and Dexter Acano, two Tower Conference transfers. This Bilodeau miss. Grabbed by Missi for Baylor. What do you see with the Bears are on offense when they're going well?
They got so many weapons. They are very balanced. Guys make shots all over the place, including the corner.
An assist for Dennis. He sets up Jalen Bridges. 5 for 12 in the year from three. The former West Virginia Mountaineer, and Baylor scored in the first two trips.
Scott Drew has built his program in part around excellent transfers, and certainly he's got another good group this year.
There's Wright, the Georgia transfer. Tyler Bilodeau backing down Walter. Walter contests it. Bilodeau rolls it home anyway. 15-point per game score gets Oregon State on the board.
Good-looking sophomore. He played a lot of minutes last year. He's certainly a key this year. They dropped to a zone, the Beavers, pretty quickly.
Wayne Tinkle will mix and match defensively. His team coming off a blowout loss against Nebraska on Saturday, 84-63. Into Missi. Bridges getting a step on Bilodeau into a Ibekwe. Missi's there for the follow. It rims out, but Yves Missi will shoot two. There is Scott Drew, one of the most decorated coaches in basketball. The national championship 3 years ago. You're 21 now at Baylor, and it seems like just yesterday for some folks that Baylor was the doormat of the Big 12. Now they are as consistent as any team in the power conferences.
Yeah, they really are. National champions in 21. They have gone toe-to-toe with teams like Kansas in the Big 12. And Scott Drew, it's almost miraculous what he's done. And I was one of those guys when he took the job in 2003 that thought he was absolutely crazy.
A couple of misses for Missi. Scott Drew, part of that outstanding coaching family. Of course, his brother Bryce, who's made a couple of NCAA tournaments at Grand Canyon. This Oregon State team 11-21 a season ago, bolstered by a heavy sophomore class. 5 of their top 8 scorers return. This is Wright, missing a three. All kinds of contact as Bilodeau knocks Walter to the floor, and a foul against Tyler Bilodeau, his first.
This is the deepest Baylor team that I've seen in quite some time. They'll go 11 deep. They've got size up front. We won't see Jonathan Tchamwa today. He's resting with a knee injury, but they have two outstanding young big guys to go along with that prolific backcourt.
Picked 4th in the Big 12 preseason, Baylor, which is even deeper this year with the addition of Houston and Cincinnati, among others. Missi slithering his way inside of Ibekwe. You really like this freshman.
He's a tremendous young player, very athletic. He's ahead of his years. Watch that.
Contests the shot, and Acano still gets the high bounce off the glass.
A good drive by Acano right there. Missi is a rim protector. Again, Beavers come out in the zone trying to slow the Bears down.
Dennis on the rolling Missi, and he scores it. Yves Missi's been fouled a couple of times, and this time he finishes.
Watch the catch here, Kevin. This is a very difficult play for a young big guy. Good catch, contact, finish, and yes, sir, just show that strength right there. He's going to fill out dramatically over the course of the next decade, but at 7 feet tall, remember, he reclassified to come to Baylor. He really should be a senior at Prolific Prep. We've mentioned Prolific Prep already tonight because that's where Jordan Pope played the year before, but this young man enrolled at Baylor early. And he's already had a huge impact on this team.
He's had a huge impact on this game because he just got Dexter O'Connell to pick up 2 fouls. Michael Ratai, the sophomore, replaces him. And O'Connell, who scored the last basket for Oregon State, has an early seat.
Good to see Ratai back out there. Sophomore, part of that group that's played a lot of minutes for Wayne Tinkle. He had been out with a calf injury. Played a little against Nebraska. The thing about Nebraska, they got blown out, Kevin, but it was really a Nebraska home game. I don't know if you've been to Sioux Falls in the Pentagon. It is a great basketball facility, and the Nebraska Huskers were out in force that day.
I have not, but based on the games I watched, including the Baylor-Auburn game you did, I would like to go to Sioux Falls.
It is a basketball city.
I need to check South Dakota off the list. That's one of 7 states remaining. You got to get to North Dakota to fill out your 50.
That's it. Yep, I fill out the bingo card with North Dakota.
It's a tough 2 by Pope. And kept inside by Josh Ojanwa. Sophomore big off the bench for Baylor. Dennis has that old man's game, the 5th-year senior. He rolls it home smoothly.
There's not another guard in the country that may be as good at the rim as this guy. You ready for this? 15 of 16 so far at the rim. Not a super athlete, but he's a highly skilled scorer.
Baylor started the game 5 for 6 through the field. Out of the double, Bilodeau, extra pass. Wright misses an open 3, his second miss. Dennis looking to track it down, and Ray J. Dennis, who's a very good rebounder, will. There's not much that Dennis can't do. Led a Toledo team that was 5th in the nation last year in adjusted offensive efficiency.
Oh, MAC Player of the Year. How about that?
Bridges off target on a 3. And off the Ratai rebound, Pope will run it for Oregon State, a team that typically plays at a pretty slow tempo. And we'll hit our first break as Pope is fouled. Baylor 5 for 7 to start.
And Ray J. Dennis, a big reason why. Take a look. Watches this shot. A little magical here. Spin in the lane.
Baylor played as a top 25 team. They've done so more than 350 times since.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. In that 2020 season, the COVID year, they were a #1 seed along with Kansas. Kansas, I thought, was the best team in the country that year. Nice pass.
Knocked away from Ebekwe. The feed was from Pope. Baylor first to the floor. Trying to get a timeout. And instead we have a tie-up. Jeff Clark says possession arrow to Baylor.
Beavers have moved the ball well, and they've gotten some great looks at the basket. That time of the fumble and the turnover, but they have gotten good shots, haven't been able to make them. They got to be really careful because this Baylor team is really potent if they now go to their bench.
Langston Love, the redshirt sophomore, is in the game for Baylor. First turnover for either team in the game about 5 minutes in.
See the Beavers in a 3-2 matchup zone. They'll show zone and play man-to-man out of it.
In the corner, Bridges off the shot fake. Bridges drills a 3.
Great ball movement right there. They saw the zone. It's like you've been hitting the fastball and all of a sudden you're waiting on the curveball. And they just knocked that curveball out of the park.
That was the first basket not scored or assisted by Dennis, but he had the setup pass to none.
Look at this.
Bridges with a takeaway. He was on the line. But Baylor hyperactive as it typically is defensively.
Watch the ball movement now. The man-to-man was not effective, so they throw the curveball at him. You don't mind if I use baseball references, do you? And watch the shot fake. You know what was great about that? He didn't give up the 3, Bridges. When he shot faked, he slid his feet along the 3-point line instead of into the paint, and that gave him the extra point.
I actually mind that it took you that long to make a baseball reference. Clean that up, will you?
Sit tight, man. Sit tight. We got 2 great days.
Me too. Day off tomorrow, then Friday the 3rd place game of the championship, 3 and 5:30 Eastern. End of the shot clock. Pope misses. And Michael Ratai with the offensive rebound will take 2 at the line.
Yeah, Jordan Pope's getting some good looks, and he's right there on the rim. And I think Wayne Tinkle is just telling him, hey, keep playing your game, man. Keep playing your game. He has to have a big day. Terrific scorer.
Started the game so hot. The first 9 points against Nebraska on Saturday. Pope is 0 for 3. And the sophomore Ratai hits the first of 2. It is rivalry weekend in college football as the regular season comes to an end. Friday night, 7:30 Eastern, ABC. Texas can lock up a spot in the Big 12 title game against Texas Tech. And then Saturday night, Florida State now without Jordan Travis, trying to stay in the college football playoff picture. They visit the Swamp, Georgia Tech, the nation's #1 team. That's on ABC at 7:30 Eastern. The 115th meeting between the Bulldogs and a Ramblin' Wreck.
Yeah, Mike Norvell's done an amazing job at FSU. They're going to lose Jordan Travis, who is going to be a historic figure in that program's history, getting the Seminoles back in the national discussion.
A leg injury against North Alabama last game. His college career done. Seminoles have 2 more cracks at an undefeated season against Louisville in the ACC title game next week. Pope fouled. He's arguing it's on the way out. Brian O'Connell says no. Foul on the floor committed by Bridges.
I thought Jordan was on his way up. Take a look. Watch when he gathers. That's close because there was a foul from behind. I understand why Brian didn't call that a shooting foul, but I would have had no problem with Jordan Pope shooting 2 right there.
Bridges and Dennis will take a seat. Caleb Lohner's in the game for the first time for Baylor. This is Shoal Mariel, big man on the floor for Oregon State for the first time. Beavers may play up to 13 tonight. They're still trying to figure out who fits in this rotation. Step back for Pope, another tough shot. Not sure he's had a clean look yet.
Yeah.
There's a big screen and a legal screen apparently by Ojanwuna. And it leads to a floater from D'Antoine Grimes, a redshirt junior. Oregon State takes a timeout. Baylor 7 for
in the preseason. I felt Baylor had 1 to 10, 1 to 11, the most talent in the league. We know Kansas was #1 and likely not will be on Monday. Losing last night, bounced back today. I do think this Baylor team is the deepest, most talented team in the Big 12.
A little pressure here. Lohner's there to knock it away along with Walter to take away for Baylor. Swing it to Grimes, who just hit a 2. He'll pass up a 3, and Lohner will reset. Here's Jacoby Walter. Offensive rebound, Lohner. They are so good crashing the glass, Baylor. 8th best in the nation in offensive rebound rate. And they get an extra possession after the takeaway.
Kevin, through the years, offensive rebounding is in their DNA. Consistently in the top 10 every season. They've had some great big guys at Baylor through the years.
Justin Rochelin picked up the foul. Oregon State has gone all the way into the bench right now. Oh, Chanwada with a little baby flip.
This young man played a lot of basketball as a freshman until Jonathan Chachua came back last February. Miraculously, his minutes dropped from 16 minutes a game to 8, but he's much improved as a sophomore. The 2-headed monster inside for Baylor is a force.
There's the tie under the basket, finds Mariel, who just shoves it in with the left hand. The 7'2 senior, Sean Mariel.
You know, I've watched him as a 15, 16-year-old when he came to the States. He's been often hurt, the Maryland transfer, but he was once a top 60 prospect.
Hope was on the floor there for a moment, and Ojanwuna ended up with a mismatch inside, and he'll go to the line on another Oregon State foul, the second against Rochelin.
Josh Ojanwuna comes out of the NBA Global Academy. That's produced guys like Josh Giddey in the NBA, Dyson Daniels, Santi Vescovi of Tennessee.
A sophomore from Nigeria rolls in his first. Again, no Chama Chachu today, a little bit of a sore knee, but Missi and Ojanwuna, a 7-foot freshman, 6'10 sophomore, big, physical, able to withstand, you feel like,
yes,
what they're going to see in the Big 12, which is a very physical league.
No question. No, those two guys are tailor-made. Missi is growing up quickly, and Ojanwuna's improved.
Bigelow, strong drive, is fouled. Got hit in the face, Tyler Bigelow. Was banged up all game on Saturday against Nebraska. And a strong drive will get him 2 here.
Yeah, I love his toughness. I mentioned he played a lot of minutes as a freshman, as everybody did on that roster. One of the youngest teams in the country. And he comes from a very athletic family. No question about it. Mom and dad, both professional athletes. Dad, first-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens. And mom played a little WNBA. She was a great player at Montana State. And we talked to Wayne Tinkle today because Wayne's wife was an outstanding player at Montana, and Elisa, and they missed each other by a year. But Tyler comes from a sports-minded family, and your dad's been in the NHL, you know you've got some toughness too, and he does.
You saw his mom's number was 34. He changed his number to 34 from 10 this year to honor her. Love spins around him. That ball's on the rim. Grabbed for a moment by Lohner into the hands of Mariel for Oregon State.
Nice pass.
Tempo with Dejon Craig off the bench. Pope yet to score. Swatted away by Walter on for Pope. A heady play defensively for the freshman Jacoby Walter. Will send us to the under 12 with Baylor excelling on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Jacoby Walter scoring yet. He's not worried. He'll still get it done on the other end. Good effort. Coaches of their era. Then he had a long career over in Europe. But take a look. Jocelyn, McDonald's All-American, played for Tara Vanderveer. Ellie played the most games in the history of Gonzaga. And all Trace Tinkle did at Oregon State was score 2,200 points, now playing in the second best league in the world, in the ACB, the Spanish league. Great basketball family.
The backyard hoop at the Tinkle household. He's probably seen a lot of things in its day.
Trace is the baby. He's only 6'7".
A mere 6'7".
Yeah.
And you have to be 6'7" and stand on a stool to hop up to see your dad. By the way, we have raised seats behind us, so I felt really tall when Wayne came over to talk to us today. I don't know if you noticed. I did that.
I did notice that.
Here's Pope for Oregon State, which is just 3 for 10 from the field. Has not hit from 3. Mariel got his defender Missi in the air, then lost it. A takeaway for Dennis. On the run out, here's Miro Little,
nice.
Rolling it home. Freshman from Finland, Miro Little with his first basket.
Yep, highly decorated coming to Baylor, and he's got a lot of family here. His mom is Finnish, but dad grew up right here in the New York area. He went to college at Mercy College, right up in Dobbs Ferry, up the Hudson. He's got a lot of family, he told us.
Pope has not been able to find any kind of space. Dennis hounding him now with 5 to shoot. Pope a deep 3. That's good. Jordan Pope finally unlocks the scoring.
He's very capable of doing that. Over 20 points a game already.
Oregon State's first 3 and a rejection by Mariel on Dennis. On the run out, Ratai slipping through Bridges. And contact on the floor as Love got tangled up with Bilodeau.
Let's take a look at Miro Little, the youngest player to play in the FIBA World Cup last summer for his country, Finland. And then watch Pope. This is rare. This is, I should say, a common occurrence for Jordan Pope, young man out of the Oakland area, terrific player at Prolific Prep, where he teamed with Adem Bona, now starring at UCLA as a sophomore.
The 3rd all-time leading scorer at Prolific Prep. Pope slithering his way in to try to create space. Finds Mariel, couldn't finish. Hard crash by Bilodeau. He's called for a foul, and that's 2 now on Oregon State's second leading scorer, Tyler Bilodeau, and immediately Wayne Tinkle goes to the bench for Thomas Ndong.
Just a freshman, Ndong. He's a Canadian. It's interesting. We had a good talk today with Todd Golden, the coach at Florida, who will coach in the second game, and he's a believer in playing with guys with 2 fouls in the first half. Sometimes you foul your own player out by sitting him that long, and we'll see how Wayne...
This feels like a possible line of demarcation here because Oregon State's not getting points from anybody else the last couple of games. And Bilodeau, 18 a game, 15 a game, 9 rebounds a game, takes a seat with 10-11 to go. The spread is 10. We'll see when we see him next. Dexter Cotto back in the game with 2 early fouls. Oregon State's committed 7 as a team. Pope. Nice look at Bridges. Pope slithers through. Knocked out of the air by Dennis. And Ray J. Dennis has control for Baylor.
Well, they put a lot of length around Jordan Pope.
Bridges gets a clean look. And there's Missi flying at another offensive rebound for Baylor.
2 good freshmen here, Missi and Little. Nice look.
Love. In the paint with a left. No, Missi trying to go to the back, and Mariel's given Oregon State some good minutes off the bench.
He really has. When he came out of high school, he was really highly thought of. Went to the University of Maryland, lots of injuries. This is his second year in Corvallis, which, by the way, my first trip last year to see them play UCLA, a great college town. Great football team, too. Big one Saturday.
Civil War. Maybe the last for a long time. Akano bricks a deep three. Missi's got another rebound for Baylor.
How poised is Yves Missi? Look at him run.
Bridges bounces it into Missi. A lot of contact, and Missi has lived at the line today. He'll go back there for the 5th and 6th attempts of his night.
Well, Yves Missi, we mentioned prolific prep a couple times, and that's where he played last season with Aiden Holloway, the outstanding young guard from Auburn, who we saw up in Sioux Falls. Talk about a high school team. They were 36-1.
How about this from the Auburn game?
Man.
You were there at Sioux Falls.
Yeah, wow. I got a little excited on this one. Good thing this wasn't a sock full, as they say. Terrific anticipation, and then the throwdown. He is a big-time NBA prospect. Reminds me of a young Clint Capella. A young man from Switzerland who has probably put on 35, 40 pounds for the Atlanta Hawks, but at the same stage, you see Missi out. Ojanwuna back in. The two-headed monster tonight. Very effective. It's like line shifts right now for Scott Drew in hockey.
They've gone 10 deep so far, Baylor. Oregon State's played more than 10 at this point. Both teams very deep early in the season, trying to figure out their rotations in game number 5 for each. Akano, Bridges all over him. Excellent defender. Bridges keeps the feet down. 5 to shoot. This is Craig. Pope hasn't had a touch on this possession, and Craig rattles in a 2. The freshman DeJon Craig takes and makes a tough one.
Comes out of Indianapolis, Lawrence Central, very good high school player. Wasn't offered a scholarship until September after a couple of injuries. They really like his long-term potential.
Rejected, none. Rejected by a Beckway. Pope on the run out. Pope into the left hand. And Dennis, some very good defensive transition. Akano ribs out a 3, and the rebound there to Walter.
Good effort by the Beavers to battle back here.
Still have not seen Jacoby Walters score it for Baylor. He's rebounded and defended well, though. Bridges. He's got a busy night offensively. Gets to the left hand and scores it. Bridges with 8.
Well, what they did, the Beavers, they took away the three-point line from Jalen Bridges, the West Virginia transfer. He really did a good job of getting to his weak hand and getting to the basket.
Playing his 100th career game tonight. 87 consecutive starts between West Virginia and Baylor. Ibekwe from Mendon. Under 7 to play in this first half. Baylor, the 13th ranked team in the country. Shooting 10 for 20 for the field. Oh, Ojanwuna taps it in. A left-handed finish off the high feed from Dennis. Welcome those of you who just saw Memphis beat Michigan in the Bahamas. We're here in Brooklyn, New York. Kevin Brown, Fran Fraschilla, the NIT Tip-Off. 13th ranked Baylor leading Oregon State 27-16. First of our doubleheader today. Pitt and Florida will follow at 9:30, and Fran, has been a very efficient start for the undefeated Bears.
Yes, it has. Very unselfish team. They moved the ball. I don't think Jacoby Walters scored yet. But it doesn't matter.
Saw Memphis beat Michigan in the Bahamas. We're here in Brooklyn, New York. Kevin Brown, Fran Fraschilla, the NIT Tip-Off. 13th ranked Baylor leading Oregon State 27-16. First of our doubleheader today. Pitt and Florida will follow at 9:30, and Fran, has been a very efficient start for the undefeated Bears.
Yes, it has. Very unselfish team. They moved the ball. I don't think Jacoby Walters scored yet. But it doesn't matter.
Offensive foul will send us to the under 8. No points for Walter. No problem so far for Baylor.
But the Bears so far imposing their will.
27 points, 18 in the paint. Is that where you think their strength will be?
No, I think their strength's going to be balanced, and I say that to you, meaning that they're going to be able to score both inside and out. We mentioned earlier this is the deepest team Scott Drew's had in quite some time, and they can go 11 deep.
They played 10 so far tonight. Oregon State's played 10 as well. Beavers' leading scorer, Jordan Pope, with the ball right here, is 1 for 7 for 3 points. There's Baylor back in the game with 2 fouls. He can't corral it. It's a takeaway. The 5th turnover by Oregon State. And it leads to the first basket for Jacoby Walter.
I said this to you earlier. Jacoby Walter is not worried about scoring. That's the first basket of the game for him. He is a complete player.
I'm impressed, first time seeing him, that he hasn't tried to force the issue offensively. Look at him get on the floor.
No, that's it.
He's got 2 steals already. Talking to Scott Drew before the game, he said he is unusually intense defensively for a freshman.
There's no question about it. Kevin, I hate to put it this way. He's already going to be a first-round pick. He knows that. And now what he wants to do is be the best teammate he can be at Baylor. Auburn, he gets 28 in his debut. His lowest scoring game this year was against John Brown in the game they won easily because he didn't have to score. He has an incredible sense of being a great teammate.
Number 8 prospect in this class, ESPN 100, one of the most highly decorated recruits in Baylor history. They could have a lottery pick once more. And with a shot clock, Pope, that did not draw the iron. It's a shot clock violation. And the 6th Oregon State turnover.
Listen, Jordan Pope has to stay patient. In order for Oregon State to stay in this game, he has to score. He is a proven weapon. And right now what Baylor's done is they've thrown the kitchen sink at him defensively. Lots of different bodies on him.
Ray J. Dennis, a very good game of the controls. Here's Walter. Over Pope at 3, and it's off the head of Ibekwe. A noggin ball to Oregon State.
I think Jordan got a piece of that.
Pope playing at 6'2", listed with a block shot. Dexter O'Connell, Marquette transferred, a couple of early fouls, and again a wayward pass to Baylor. Oregon State, the last couple of games, has really struggled with post entries.
Well, that's a bad pass by O'Connell because when you pass the ball above the foul line extended, watch this. See, you take your post guy away from the basket. When you get below the foul line extended and you make the entry pass, you take your big guy to the basket. And he just has to come down 1 or 2 more dribbles to create a better angle.
Oregon State now with more turnovers than makes, 7-6. Inside, Jaden Nunn seals off and scores the VCU transfer.
We haven't mentioned his name a lot early, but he has also had a great impact on this season. Young man from Flint, Michigan, and he plays with that Flint toughness.
His first basket, he's the 8th Baylor player on the board in not even 16 minutes. But tie, not close.
Nice
Dennis
look.
Down the field. That was a touchdown waiting to happen. Walter couldn't finish, and then Missi was there, trying to throw it down. A rare missed opportunity in transition for Baylor. On the drop off at 3. That's nice. Good to John Craig with his 2nd field goal.
You know, he looks like he's in junior high school. He had a terrific high school career at Lawrence Central. He was going to go to prep school and decided to take the offer to come to the Pac-12, at least for this year. But man, he's impressive so far for a guy of diminutive stature.
Dennis with 7 to shoot. It's the screen for Missi. Missed a 3. Down to Walter. Off his feet. Picked it back up. Walter hanging in air, and he scores it. Patience, a virtue.
Watch the effort, first of all, by Jacoby Walter to keep this ball alive and scoop up the loose ball. It's any man for himself. I would say unassuming is his game. Unassuming. He could be very quiet out there and end up with 22 tonight.
Talking to Scott Drew, said, when's the first time you saw Walter? What impressed you? He said his maturity right away. Yep. He's got a terrific family.
Yes, he does.
There's Baylor who scores it high, but they could tell from the first moment they met Jacoby Walter, he was just a different kind of kid. His dad was a great defensive player at Birmingham Southern, so he carries that defensive intensity. which you have to worry about with a lot of freshmen. They don't have to worry about that with him.
Well, he is the whole package. I've been around Baylor basketball for a long time, and they rave about this young man's intangibles, the off-the-court stuff, the character, the work ethic. His dad, Eddie, he was the Webb of Birmingham Southern, the 1996 NAIA national champions. Reese Davis would be mad at me if I didn't say the coach was Dwayne Rebo, who did a great job there. Top freshman guards right there. We're going to see another one tonight. Carlton Carrington, Isaiah Collier. Hey, Malik Mack, remember that name. He's averaging 20 points and 6 rebounds for 5-1 Harvard right now. Young man out of St. John's College High School in D.C. And, of course, Kentucky's got a couple of outstanding ones. Josh Hubbard, too. Josh, we couldn't fit you on that graphic, but young man at Mississippi State also having an outstanding freshman year. But remember Malik Mack, Kevin, I told you first.
Hey, they got the win at Colgate today.
5-1.
Matt Langle's Gators. There's a takeaway for Baylor once again. On the run out, Jaden Nunn. Nunn draws the contact. Nunn scores. A blocking foul, which you're going to hear a lot more this season.
Well, the thing about this team is we keep talking about so much depth. Now let's watch on the charge here. This is a great call because the new rule is that you have to be set before the offensive player has put a second foot on the floor. Last year, that would have been a charge. This year, it's almost always going to be a block.
Take us through the delineation between the charge last year and the charge this year.
The charge last year, you had to be set before the offensive player left his feet. Now you have to be set before the offensive player plants his second foot. And in the NBA, they call it a gather. They don't say that in college. They just say planting the second foot. And it's much harder to pick up a charge now, which I think fans love, coaches love it, players love it. And scoring is up in college basketball. We talked to Chris Rastetter for a while earlier, the NCAA's coordinator of officiating, and he gave us a great tutorial, did he not?
Yep. DeJohn Craig to the line for 2 for Baylor here. Langston Love with a second foul for Baylor. Friday night, another NBA doubleheader just down the road at the Garden. The Heat and the Knicks at 7:45 Eastern. Then Victor Wembanyama's San Antonio Spurs and to San Francisco to take on Golden State at 10 Eastern. NBA Countdown starts at all 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, ESPN, and the ESPN app.
What about Jeremy Sohan?
What about Jeremy Sohan?
San Antonio Spurs.
I left that for you, Fran. Okay. I don't want to give all the...
You teed it up. You teed it up.
Former Baylor standout.
How about DeJohn Craig? Same high school as Kyle Guy and Jake LaRavia is now in the NBA with the Grizzlies. Kyle playing over in Spain. This young man has been really impressive early in the game.
Under 2 to play in this first half. Baylor has not trailed. And Nunn throws it away to build it. A rare turnover, only the second for the Bears. Pope. And that 3 is buried.
This is so much fun.
Craig. That is a coming out party for DeJohn Craig, a 3.8 per game scorer.
But I don't think he's turned it over this year. Maybe he's got a couple, but he really, really plays within himself.
He's perfect in the field right now, 4 for 4. Missi spinning. Finds an open man. It's Walter for 3.
That's money. Yep. Great stroke. Very, very compact. Repeatable. And again, quietly efficient. Jacoby Walter.
8 points, 3 rebounds, couple of steals for Walter. And nearly took one away again. Craig able to keep it in. Lohner's a little too handsy, and Caleb Lohner called for a foul, which will send Bilodeau to the line.
This young man, he lost his dad in June before his senior year of a heart issue, and it broke him up. He ended up having a really good senior year at Lawrence Central. You know, they play Lawrence North, all the great teams in the city of Indianapolis. Great high school basketball, and he was headed to prep school. Beavers had an injury. They had an open scholarship. A couple of college coaches recommended him, and he's really looked good today.
Beckway with a miss, grabbed by Bridges. Under a minute to play. It's a 14-point Baylor lead. First of 2 semifinals, Florida and Pitt, to come at 9:30 Eastern. Walter against Pope. Walter in the lane, knocked away by Pope, out of bounds. Wayne Tinkle thinks it's off the knee, but it will stay with Baylor. 14 to shoot.
Good hands by Jordan Pope. Looks like Jacoby got a step on him. Reach in. By the way, hand is part of the ball by rule.
Walter fouled after hitting a three.
Remember, he didn't score his first basket till midway through the first half. Pure stroke, Kevin. What do you think so far? First time you're seeing him in person.
I'm blown away. I really am. Because, again, he didn't try to force his shot early. He didn't get into the rhythm of the game offensively for so long. He had 3 steals, and all of a sudden you look up, he's got a dozen.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, he doesn't care about scoring. It's going to happen naturally. He scores like he breathes.
It's the largest lead for Baylor at 18. Bears have led this game wire to wire, looking to go to 5-0 in the season. Pope. Dennis did not bite on those shot fakes. Craig, step back. 7 to shoot it for Pope, who has had a tough first half. Goes 1 for 8 for 3 points. Pope, through all kinds of traffic, has to chuck it up. Did not get the rim. Jordan Pope has been smothered and covered by the men in green and gold.
Bridges, Nunn, Walter, Dennis, they've all had a piece of Pope. Well, take a look. I mean, that's harassment. You could get 2 to 5 in New York for that.
Are the standards higher or lower in New York?
I don't know. I grew up here. I've been gone a long time. All I know is this is the borough of the best pizza you'll ever eat in your life.
I'm with you there. Boy, it'd be nice if we had some.
Yeah.
Dennis Missi, good grief. Trying to dunk it over the Chrysler building. Here's Walter, no. And that will end the first half. A nearly explosive finish, but an explosive and efficient first half for Baylor, which typically does not lose when leading at the half, and they lead this game by 18. 44-26, an impressive start for the Bears over the Beavers. Halftime here in Brooklyn. We'll send you to the studio. 3 points. He's committed 3 of Oregon State's 9 turnovers. Baylor with only 2 giveaways in the first 20 minutes for Scott Drew's team.
And he's got to stay patient, Kevin. He's an excellent player. He just dropped 25 on Nebraska. Baylor has hounded him into 1 for 9. But I'm anxious to see his body language because it's not his fault that there's a glove on him. Nice pass.
Into a Beckway. Extra pass, a little bit low. Tough catch for Akano. He'll refeed to Casey Beckway. Flattens it home with the left hand.
Yeah, nicely done. King of the city. That's what his mom and dad called him when he was a baby. Young man from the Vancouver, British Columbia area. That's how he got his nickname. King of the city.
His given name is actually Favor.
Yeah.
Which is spelled the British way with a U. Ray J. Dennis off the glass. Dennis had a quietly effective first half as well. He's got 6 and 5 assists.
Oh, he's so good going to the rim.
Akano into the teeth of Walter, who picks up his first foul.
Just keeping track of Ray J. You ready for this? He's got 16 baskets at the rim this season on 19 shots, and he's 6'3".
Is that good?
It's pretty good. Better than a lot of big guys.
Ray J. Dennis, Scott Drew told us, is an inspiration to this team. He was born with a club foot on his right leg. You can see the cast in the left picture there, but the shooting form was pretty good from a young age. And Ray J., one of a couple of players on this Baylor team that has overcome some real medical difficulties. You know all about Jonathan Chamwa Chachua. Scott Drew told us they're not lacking for inspiration in terms of what some of their players have fought through at a young age, and even the last couple of years to get on the court. Dennis inside again, this time a miss near the rim, and Beckway's got the ball for Oregon State. Here's Akano. Marquette transferred an early basket and a quiet first half after that. Bilodeau inside, Bridges scores it. Oregon State with 2 hoops at the rim.
And Casey Beckway's done a really good job here, the sophomore. That was good big-to-big interior passing right there. Good seal by Bilodeau. Tyler Bilodeau is a solid player. He's going to be a good player for Oregon State.
Missi with a catch and finish. Walter the assist from on high.
Well, Casey went to the 6th floor. And that time, Missi went to the penthouse.
McConnell weaving his way inside, got Missi in the air. Walter with a bump from behind.
We've raved about this young man, Yves Missi, and for good reason. He's had a really good effect on the early part of this Baylor season. He comes from a great family. His brother, Steve Missi, played at Harvard, one-time Ivy League Player of the Year. Everybody in the family, Kevin, is successful. His sister's a doctor. He's got another sister with a clothing line in Africa, another sister who's an engineer. Steve, his older brother, is an investment banker in France and gave up a really good pro career in Europe to get into a line of work where he's going to make a ton of money. What's the lob here?
It's Bridges from Dennis. Back-to-back plays with a lob for Baylor. Oregon State falls asleep under the basket.
Baylor's gone to the zone, Beavers to the zone, and Baylor picking it apart over the top.
There's an open look for O'Connell. Not going to get much cleaner than that against this Baylor defense.
I think they're going to go back man. Yep, they're back man, the Beavers. Trying to throw everything at the Bears.
Jaden Nunn had options, goes to Bridges on the wing. Bridges. Rebound Bilodeau. Oregon State can get this down to a dozen or less. They feed it Beckway inside against Missi, who may have got a piece of that. Tipped it into his own basket. And Oregon State is +6 in the first 3 minutes of the half, leading to a Baylor timeout.
Well, we talked about the king of the city. Young man from Vancouver getting it done below the rim, but very effective.
You know what? I respect it.
Yeah. No, I'm a
Thanksgiving or any other day.
No, I'm a pumpkin pie guy. You know, whipped cream, a lot of whipped cream, more whipped cream than pumpkin pie.
That I think is unhealthy. But I respect it.
But if cannolis are the second choice, that's a good day.
Yeah, you know what? Have what you want for Thanksgiving. If you want to have fried chicken instead of turkey, have fried chicken. Knock yourself out. None for the corner. No good on the three. Walter got a piece of it. And Beckway lost it right back to Nunn. Here's Walter. He's got space, and that's a problem.
Wow. What a stroke. Took his time.
What do you like about his form?
It's compact. It's simple. We call it beef. Watch this. Beef. Ready? Beef. Balance, elbow, eyes, follow through. So he's in balance, okay? He's got the elbow under the ball. Eyes on the rim. Follow through with that little swan neck at the top. You like that?
I do like that.
I just gave you a shooting lesson, Kevin Brown. You got to give me some batting lessons from those Orioles.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you the batting lessons. I didn't last Babe Ruth baseball.
Who's my guy from the Oregon State?
Adley Rutschman.
Yeah.
#1 pick, 2019.
Yep.
Clint Tinkle, a big fan of his.
Nice pass.
Terrific find. It's Bridges with the slam.
Well, they answered the bell after that timeout.
Oregon State had cut an 18-point lead down to 12. 5 straight for Baylor. Long arms defensively of Walter and O'Connell. There's a foul away from the ball on Josh Ojanwina. His third foul will send us to a break.
Well, we've seen a little bit of everything from Jacoby Walter. The hustle, the D, the scoring. How about dropping? He's dropping more dimes than a guy with a hole in his pockets. Take a look at that. Wow.
I lived about a mile and a half south of here for years. I never had Patsy's.
Patsy's right across the street.
So
great stuff.
I'm excited to have this at the break, apparently, because one of us has to do their job here. But if you get a chance, next couple of days, Luigi's Pizza, 23rd and 5th. Get about a mile and a half down the road from here.
Got it.
That is the best old school New York pizza I've had, Luigi. Sometimes they have garlic nuts. Sometimes they don't. They just have what they have. And it's absolutely glorious.
Hard to have bad pizza in New York.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it at all. Way to celebrate some fantastic basketball, some fantastic food here in New York. We'll be off for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Back here on Friday for the third place game of the championship game. Don't forget Florida and Pitt coming up at 9:30 Eastern after our game here on ESPN2.
We're talking about Jacoby Walter. Remember the name Bub Carrington. 6'6" freshman from the Charm City, Baltimore. who is really just taking Pittsburgh by storm. Oh!
Missi missed it, and Missi got it back. He's in the double figures now, 10-10 for Yves Missi.
The only bad thing about that play is Ray J. Dennis doesn't get the assist because he missed a shot, but you see the reason a lot of people are excited about Yves Missi. He's the most polished freshman big man that has played at Baylor, in my opinion. There's been some good.
That's saying a lot. 21 years he's got through. Here he is defensively. Casey Ibekwe has had a very good second half. Casey Ibekwe now with 6 points.
I think what he's done with Missi is used his body, and he's eliminated the vertical. Watch him just take this ball right to Missi's body, where Missi cannot get off his feet. And this is a really good second half by the sophomore from Vancouver.
Wayne Tinkle said he's such a nice kid that you kind of want to be a little meaner, Casey Ibekwe, and he's played with an edge here in the second half.
Well, his coach was a mean guy. He played with Larry Krystkowiak in Montana for, I mentioned earlier, Mike Montgomery and Stu Morrill, two great college coaches. And Wayne could throw his weight around.
Ibekwe can't complete the three-point play. He's too shy of a career high. 8 points for him. The lead for Baylor is 17 in a game they have not trailed. None. Stop and start. A lot of contact there without a foul. Oregon State's on the run out with Pope. He's only hit one basket, and that remains the same. And a foul against the Beavers will send us the other way. It's Michael Ratai.
You and I talked about Jordan Pope at halftime. He's got to stay patient. It has not been his night. I'm telling you, Kevin, he's an excellent player. But what Baylor has done, he's really, to me, the one above-average big Pac-12 player. Bilodeau's right there with him. This is a young team that still has to continue to get better.
Now before the shot on Christian Wright.
And what Baylor's done is they know that they cut off the head of the snake, that they have a chance to obviously open this game, and they've done a really good job of doing that. To Jordan Pope, who comes in averaging over 20 points a game.
He's got 3 points. He's 1 for 10. John Craig leads Baylor with 10. We've not Oregon State. We've not seen him in the second half. Here's Nunn finding Walter. All kinds of daylight. Missed a three. Rebound to Pope.
This is a better defensive team than the Baylor team last year, especially in the backcourt.
Ibekwe again with space. Ibekwe couldn't finish. Fights for the ball. Ibekwe smothered by Missi. Third chance blocked again. 2 denials for Yves Missi. Nunn sensing an opportunity. Nunn to the basket. No. 2 Bears were there to try to slam it. And Pope will finally get a clean look.
Let's see if that gets him going. Only his second field goal. Missi's shaken up at the other end.
And Jeff Clark will stop the game because of it.
One thing you love about this freshman now, he goes full bore. Here's the missed shot. Watch Missi come out of nowhere with the spectacular effort. And let's hope the young man's okay. But that's what you call playing hard right there. Already a double-double, first of his career.
He's a number 13 player in the class of 2024, reclassified up. 7-foot freshman from Cameroon will be replaced by Josh Ojanwuna. Nunn off a bump. A tough shooting night for him. And here is Pope for Oregon State with 5 points in the game. The Beavers down 15 with 13 to go. They'll feed the post again for Marion. Good post play between Marion and Ibekwe offensively.
I agree. Joe Marion. We're seeing what happens when he's healthy. Paul Biancardi and all those high school experts we have saw this kid play as a young player. He had a lot of promise, but injuries set him back.
Love on a handoff. Oh, John would have missed the dunk, but he was fouled in the act of trying.
This is really nice from a 7'2" player, 7'1". Watch that nice little jump hook, elevates over Ojanwuna. Nicely done.
Mariel just a 2-point per game score with a couple of baskets tonight. John on a 4 for 7 at the foul line coming in. Baylor has struggled 6 for 14 shooting free throws tonight. That's what Scott Drew thinks when his team goes 6 for 14 from the free throw line.
Yeah, they're in control of this game, but they have not played, I think, to their level tonight.
2 more misses for Ojanwuna. And the three-pointer, this could be a 10-point game. Oregon State has hung around in the second half from down 18 to within 11. And there's a careless turnover. Walter out of the pack. Walter scores it. A smart play by the freshman who leaned back into Ratai for a three-point opportunity.
You're exactly right, Kevin. What he did is he cut off Ratai's ability to get in front of him. Watch Ratai try to catch up. So Walter takes his body into the defender, wards him off, but he'll shove right there, gets away with it. But a terrific finish at the end. That's a high IQ play.
They get 18 for Walter, who converts the three-point play.
Remember I said to you earlier, remember he didn't score for the first half of the first half. He's going to get 20, 22 quietly. He's got 18 so far.
Right at his season average. And Walter tried to take it away from Craig. He commits his second foul instead.
I think the thing they loved about him when he got to campus in June was that he was willing to be a two-way player, and that's been evident early in his career.
Here's Pope in the lane. Pope scores it. Slid it around Lohner for his third field goal.
Yep, and you'd love to see him get it going a little bit. That breakaway layup may have done the trick. He's going to earn every basket tonight, Jordan Pope.
Langston Love a scoreless first half. Love. Lohner, the BYU transfer. Lohner, a strong finish.
You know, when you look at the Baylor bench, when a guy like Lohner scores, everybody gets up. This is as good a team chemistry as Baylor's had maybe since the championship year.
Shooting at 50% from the field. He's their 9th player with a basket.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful big guy. Beautiful basketball.
6 points for Mariel is one shy of a career high set back in November of 2020 for Maryland against Old Dominion. Offensive rebound, Ojanwuna, Baylor with a fresh 20. Love throws it away. We got the under 12. I'll see how many slices of pizza I can eat during the break. You take it, Fran. I gotta start eating.
Watch Jacoby Walter getting it done. High IQ.
Sioux Falls for the opening game against Auburn.
Yeah, keep in mind, Baylor, Kevin, is coming back on December 20th to play Duke in the Garden. And there's a lot of Baylor fans that are going to save their money, come back in December and spend Christmas time in New York. And
yes,
these fans are spending Thanksgiving here in the Big Apple.
It's a howitzer of a non-conference schedule that Scott Drew has put together. Typically doesn't play a game like Auburn on a neutral floor to start the season. And he said it was good for the sport, but when I realized they had 5 of their top 7 scorers back, I thought, why did I schedule this game? Well, they came back late, got a big win. They're 4-0. Trying to make it 5 straight. As Baylor bails out the Beavers with a late foul. Here's what you're talking about. Duke in the Garden, Michigan State and Detroit. Those will both feel like road games in the presence of Duke fans. And then Seton Hall team out of the Big East. We'll see how good they are December 5th.
That's right. They'll play that at the Farrell Center, which has about a month more life to it before they move into a beautiful new arena right on I-35. Oh, boy.
Pope in trouble in the hands of Love. Dennis, eyes always up. Dennis, spinorama. That's a goaltend. Count the bucket. Ray J. Dennis with it.
What did I tell you? So good going to the basket. He's also one of the best post-up guards in college basketball. He played last year at Toledo. He actually started his career at Boise State. He once scored 19 points in a little over 3.5 minutes in a game against Utah State. Think about that. 19 points in the last 3.5 minutes of the game. 5-year college starter. This will be his last one here in the Big 12. McConnell from Mariel. Not close. Dennis again. Redshirt senior from Plainfield, Illinois. Dennis. And
there's not going to be a chance for an assist here. Offensive foul on Ojanwuna clearing space. It's his fourth.
Isn't it fun that we don't see that many charges this year? Take a look right there. Ojanwuna just runs the defender over. He doesn't even have his head up. Easy call.
He'll take a seat. Yves Missi will return. Good to see him back and healthy.
Isn't that amazing, the rotation they have with those two, plus Everyday John, who's sitting out today. And then you throw in Loner and Bridges up front, right?
They're deep in the front court, very deep in the back court. They've added a lot of size with their transfers. Ariel doubled and fouled. Dennis gambled. And Oregon State's in the bonus here, so Shoal Marial will shoot 1 and 1. Off the foul on Ray J. Dennis, his third. So a little bit of foul trouble for Baylor now. Shoal Marial out of Quebec in South Sudan.
One of the many immigrants.
He was just tied a career high with 7 points, Marial.
5 for 6 on the season from the line. Good looking shooting stroke. Want to go review Beef again?
Yeah.
That's
Be electric every free throw.
Don't be making stuff up. No.
Be electric every free throw? No.
Balance, elbows, eyes follow.
All right.
Don't confuse the young players at home, Kevin.
Well, they're confused already. They've been listening to you and I for 30 minutes of basketball. That's a new career high for Marial, by the way. That's 7 points November the 25th, 3 years ago against Old Dominion, 8 tonight. And Langston Love finally gets on the board to give Baylor a 16-point lead again.
Baylor's been in control, but I think Scott Drew would tell you afterwards they have not played great basketball tonight. Inconsistent. I love that they're throwing it inside.
Good cut. Comes, it's Lake from Mario. Josiah Lake, the second, who did not play in the first half with his first basket.
And he's a walk-on. Dad played as a walk-on, earned a scholarship. Looks like a little 1-2-2 zone that they'd like to play. Maybe 1-3-1, changing a lot of defenses. That's off.
This by Little, rebounded by Missi, who is fouled. Charging into Marial after the play. Nothing extra there. Both teams not quite in the bonus. That's the 6th foul against Oregon State.
Last year, Oregon State, Kevin, was the 342nd most experienced team in college basketball. That means they were really young. They're still young.
Tried to hit Missi over the top. He's fouled again and hit in the face. So that will send Yves Missi to the line. Shoal Marial picks up his 2nd foul. Baylor is just 7 for 16 at the line. Missi 2 for 6. And Conley hits the first.
That's important. He was 0 for 5 against UMKC. Here's a little tip. Here's a little tip for you. He's going to get fouled a lot this year.
So he'll really need a beefy stroke, is what you're saying.
If I have to come out of retirement to show him beef. We're not talking beef jerky here, okay? We're talking shooting.
What was it again? It was big,
no,
electric, eccentric, finish. It's our 4th beef acronym of the game.
I can't come. I don't have a comeback.
Oh man!
Now you confused me.
Get used to it. I'm confused myself. Lead is back to 16. Baylor's kept Oregon State at arm's length for the whole second half.
Throw it inside.
Instead, Bilodeau, who missed a 3. It's not been their strength today, outside shooting. Dennis trickling in. Couldn't play the angle. Ahead of steam for Lake. Pope will not take it. Looking to go inside Pope. Take it inside himself. Get bumped. And the ruling is that Little went straight up. Dennis. Lead feed for Love and a bobble. Baylor turnover just there, 6. A little bit sloppy, but the lead still 16 for Baylor. Fran Fraschella's former home lit up at night on a beautiful Wednesday evening.
Terrific job at Pitt. They had their best season in the ACC a year ago. 14 ACC wins. And Bub Carrington, remember the name, the second player in ACC history to record a triple-double in his debut. And the first player?
We'll find out coming up, or do you want us to give the answer now?
I'm going to give it to you now. It's Dennis Scott.
Who did he do it against?
I think it was LeMoyne. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Alcorn State.
Oh, you're so good.
That's right, Alcorn State.
You fill in the gaps for me, you know?
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Where you lead, I will follow. Once said. That's the 4th foul against Justin Rochelin. So both teams in the bonus, 7:20 to go. Baylor's led by as many as 19. Little bit sloppy at times, but still shooting 52%. Good cut there. Bridges the fine from Walter. Kobe Walter just has his fingerprints all over this game.
He really does. And it's quiet assassin.
14 for Bridges. Baylor's got a few players double figures now. Missi with a dozen, Walter with 18. Bilodeau, tough one goes.
Yeah, really like him.
Out of Oregon State.
Yeah, he plays with toughness. He's skilled. Averaging 15 as a sophomore. Been here this week. Obviously, the Wounded Warrior Empire State Classic at the Garden earlier in the week. This Saturday and today and Friday. 1-3-1 zone. They've thrown a lot of different defenses at Baylor, and the Bears have pretty much figured it out.
Dennis from none. A pull-up 3. No good. Rebound to Schultz Marial, who's played well, and he'll not take it up the floor for Oregon State.
I think they got to throw it back into him. Keep developing those big guys, Bekwe and Marial. Right now.
Screen and get in there.
Throw it in the post.
Nakano didn't do it with baseline. Okay. Instead, Nakano scores it.
And remember, Wayne Tinkle told us he wants Dexter Nakano to throw the three-point shot in his back pocket and drive it. That was a good example right there.
Yeah, shooting just 23% from the field and from 3 on the year. Nakano's 3 for 6 tonight, though. He's got 10. A foul again. This is the second time in the game that Oregon State has fouled Walter shooting a 3.
Can I teach you shooting again? Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, what I'm dead serious now. Watch how little movement. You see, Jacoby's going to get fouled. Watch how little movement Jacoby Walter has in his shot. The less movement in your shot, the less that can go wrong. It's very compact. When we say beef, we mean his balance. Elbow under the ball, eyes on the rim, and then a nice follow through.
I'm glad you remembered.
Oh, yeah.
I threw a lot at you there.
Simple.
Justin Rochelin is fouled out of the game without a point. Walter with the first of 3.
There you see, nice follow through in the corner. Contact at the end. They always protect the shooter. Got to give him a chance to land. But you know, we had a chance, Kevin. Roxy Birdstein and I to see him drop 28 against a really good Auburn team. And kind of takes your breath away when a young man is this good but this unassuming and humble.
Most points in a freshman debut in Baylor history in that game. He has 21 today. So his third 20-point game in 5 college games.
And remember, the only one he didn't have a big 20-point game was against a Division II team, NAIA, John Brown. Throw it into the post.
Pope into Walter. Pope just shoves it home. He's got 9.
Yep, he's working for every basket tonight, Jordan Pope.
How's his body language been?
It's been good. You know, he's an emotional kid. He's an Oakland kid. They don't grow him any tougher than if you're from Oakland, St. Louis, or Baltimore. And he's got a fire about him that I always enjoyed coaching guys like that.
I asked that because Wayne Tinkle said he really showed maturity in the game against Nebraska with us down big. Walter, it's another 3. 24 for Jacoby Walter. $18 points, one off the largest lead for Baylor tonight. And Bekwe is fouled by Missi.
Watch Jacoby Walter now. Watch where he comes from. Watch him move along the baseline. He's going to go opposite. There's a swing of the ball. Feet set, squared, balanced. Again, great follow through at the top. And terrific young man. Good for mom and dad. Eddie Walter, we mentioned, terrific player. They've raised a terrific young guy.
1-on-1, Ibekwe clanks it. Walter clears the rebound, his fifth. Under 5 to play, Baylor well on its way to the championship game here in the NIT Season Tip-Off. And their coaches will be out here to watch Florida and Pitt after this game to see who they'll face Friday night. It's a walk against none.
That time Jaden's feet were a little quicker than his brain. He's trying to get to the rim, shuffled the feet.
Slow night for him, too. He'll be a good player for them. Transfer from VCU.
Tremendous. No, this team is going to have a different, well, other than Jacoby Walter, they're going to have a bunch of guys that are going to be leading scorer. And it's a very connected team, too. You can tell being around them in practice.
McConnell leans in, gets the roll. Next to McConnell, double figures for the 4th time this year.
I love him using that linebacker body by getting into the lane. I think that's his strength. And he's shown us that tonight.
10 of his 12 of the second half. Nunn into the teeth of McConnell. Nunn will get to the line. It's all Baylor. 3:56 away from sealing a 5th consecutive win. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Novavax. Choose to protect your family.
State coming on strong. TCU terrific. This Baylor team is going to be a fun team to watch them grow throughout the course of the year.
Jaden Nunn at the line for 2 here. What do you make of the league this year and the depth with Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and BYU joining the Big 12? Texas and Oklahoma in the league for 1 more year.
Well, listen, I'm lucky enough to know this league, obviously, as well as anybody. Last 10 years, it's been the best league in college basketball, a couple national championships. This is a reloading year for the Big 12. This is not a vintage. Now, there's some great teams, don't get me wrong. You know, obviously, there's a bunch of teams that can get to the second weekend and beyond. But this is a reloading year. It's not a rebuilding year. There's some very good teams. But they're a year away from being unbelievable when Arizona comes to town. And Arizona State, Colorado, Tad Boyle's got a terrific team. Cincinnati with Wes Miller, they've got some really talented young guys coming in. And, you know, it's always the argument who's the best league. But analytically, according to Ken Palm, 8 of the last 10 years it has been the Big 12. And the thing about the league that's been so good is the balance from top to bottom. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how it changes because no more double round robin. You know, we've had double round robin in the Big 12 forever. And with 14 teams, that's not possible.
Here's the preseason poll. Houston, the newcomer, 2nd. Baylor slots in a 4th. You see the new teams maybe drag it down a little bit this year. Cincinnati, BYU, UCF are in 3 of the bottom 4 slots.
Yeah, but BYU's playing well, and Cincinnati just got the big guy, Bandego, to transfer from Utah Valley, eligible. He's the best athlete I saw last year among big guys. He's going to be a big factor for them.
There's probably no other league in the country where BYU would be picked 13th. I know. Missi with a lay-in. Terrific game for him. 14 and 14 for the freshman.
Well, I thought the Big East would be deep top to bottom. It's going to, right now, it's 3 really good teams at the top. Villanova looks like they're pretty good. SEC should be good. I think Florida, this team you're going to see in the second game, picked 8th is better than 8th, and Auburn to me is picked better than where they were picked at 6th.
Under 3 to play. Here's Pope left-handed to score it. Oregon State takes its penultimate timeout.
Jordan Pope has earned every single basket tonight. Coming off 25 against Nebraska.
He's got 10 of his 13 in the second half. Wayne Tinkle said he's seen
where that can score like he does. Bilodeau's been solid. The big guys played well tonight. McConnell's had a good night. And this young man, Craig, has really impressed me tonight, the freshman from Indianapolis who's guarding the ball right now.
They're shooting 63% in the second half. They're 15 for 24. Can you take something out of that even in a blowout game?
Absolutely. Oh, no. And again, they made Baylor not play as well as they're capable.
Battled out from Bridges. Pope with 2.5 to go. Beaver shooting 48% overall in the game. Most of their points have come down here in the paint. And Ebekwe draws another foul against Missi. That's his 4th. Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlanta's. A couple of ranked teams. North Carolina is one of them. A big win over Northern Iowa. They'll face Villanova. 2:30 Eastern tomorrow. Memphis outlasts Michigan by 4. Penny Hardaway's Tigers, the American champions a year ago, have reloaded. They'll get the winner of Stanford and Arkansas. The game currently on ESPNU. North Carolina, biggest disappointment in the nation last year after the run to the title game. Where do they stack up in your estimation this year?
Well, I think they're a top 25 team. R.J. Davis is tremendous. Armando Bacot is back again. They've got some interesting transfers. I saw R.J. earlier in the year, and he's really one of the best young guards in the country. Really excited about watching him continue. Yeah, he's not young now. He's been a veteran. He's a New York kid. And Armando Bacot is as good a big man as you'll see. He's right there with the Hunter Dickinsons and the Zach Edey's in terms of, you know what's interesting about Armando? His backup center at IMG Academy was a guy named Zach Edey.
What happened to him?
National Player of the Year. Maybe
Valley Invitational winner today.
Maybe on his way to a second National Player of the Year award. We'll see.
We're in an unprecedented era, it seems, of big men in college. At least unprecedented in the modern era. Love able to rattle it in. Despite the tip. It's an interesting moment in the game because you have NIL, which helps keep some athletes in college. And you also have the NBA, as this ball slammed in by Connell, going away from traditional big men. So whereas in the past, Zach Edey, Armando Bacot, Hunter Dickinson would all be in the NBA, we as college fans get to reap the benefits of them getting a couple of extra years.
Absolutely. I mean, college basketball is actually in a good spot because of all the veteran players. I thought Oscar Tshiebwe, who's going to play a lot of G League basketball this year, I thought he should have stayed at Kentucky, and you know, he would have made another boatload of money as a fifth-year senior. You know, the unintended consequences of NIL. Now, some of my coaching friends call it, now it's legal. You know, the people who hate NIL the most are the cheaters.
Sure.
The people that used to cheat.
Sure.
Because now, paying guys is legal. And so if you weren't paying them before because you didn't want to break the rules, that's not a problem right now. NIL, now it's legal.
Your acronym game has been on point today.
Watch this beef right here, okay? I have a beef with you, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Is it a beef?
It's no, right
for 2.
Right now, it's a pretend beef.
Okay.
As long as you don't take that last slice of pizza in that box.
No, I'm 3 and out, I think. You've had about 6. Akalo too strong, closing on a minute to play in his first semifinal. Remember, don't go anywhere. We're going to have Florida and Pitt. That'll be a little bit after 9:30. Langston Love with the 3, the icing on the cake for this fantastic shooting performance for Baylor. 52% in the first half, 52% in the second for the Baylor Bears.
And honestly, Kevin, I didn't think they played their best basketball. Hey, how about this kid?
This kid can play.
I'm impressed, man.
4 for 4, 2 for 2 at the line, a dozen for DeJohn Craig.
Yep. He's going to be a nice little player. He's got to fill out, but I really like it. Look at
Up top, Little to O'Jonah. 88 for Baylor. That's the number they put up in the opener against Auburn.
And that is exactly the way Wayne Tinkle wants Dexter O'Connell to play. Use that 6'5" frame, the maturity, go to the basket.
Second half is 44-44 right now. See if Oregon State can build on this after a day off. They will get the loser of the Florida-Pitt game Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific. Baylor will get the winner at 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central. First meeting since the 2014 tournament coming up for the Gators and Panthers, two teams that feel like they really should be NCAA tournament teams again. Pitt made it last year. Florida's been out of the dance for a couple of years, but on paper has its best team in a while.
Yeah, I saw them in August. I was down there for a coaching clinic at the University of Florida and was really, really impressed. Remember Zion Pullen, the transfer from UC Riverside. We're going to see his second game tonight.
It's a really, really good matchup.
Yep.
We'll have it for you in a half hour or so, but first, the clock will expire on a Baylor victory. It's 5th in a row to start the year. Baylor Bears are looking like the Baylor Bears again. They put up 44 in each half. Scott Drew's team wins at 88-72. So the championship game Friday night will see Baylor against either Florida or Pitt. Oregon State into the third place game at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, after having Thanksgiving off. All Baylor tonight. Jacoby Walter at 24. Yves Missi 14 and 14. The freshman fabulous.